Hi, I'm Barbara Gray, the Chief Librarian and Head of Research Skills Instruction at Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of New York. I'm going to show you advanced web research skills that you are going to use every day in your reporting career and your life. Knowing these research skills is a life skill. A great thing about this research video and all the ones to follow is that you'll be able to pause it whenever you need to and go back to review the skills that you need to. You'll also have access to practice exercises and a tip sheet for this video, and it'll have links of the searches and resources that we used. Remember that research is failing up, meaning that you learn with each search, with each mistake, and you get better with practice and with the help of these videos. Before we get started, let's talk about your access to web resources. Access to electronic resources can vary around the world. Some things are almost universal, like Google or other web search engines in the country. First, you must assess for yourself what resources you have access to or can apply for access to. These include resources at your job, like news article databases, statistics databases, etc. Many public libraries give you remote access to powerful research tools. You may be able to apply for access to multiple public libraries in your area. For instance, I have access to the New York Public Library, the Brooklyn Public Library, and the Queens Public Library, as well as my state public library. And all of those have remote access to different and some overlapping electronic databases on every topic that can inform my research for reporting. If you're a student or adjunct professor at a university, you should request remote access to their databases too. Reach out to the reference desk for help or the reference librarian. Now we move on to planning your research. We have two templates that can help you. First, we are sharing a beat memo template that is available as one of the module readings, so you can refer to it anytime. A beat memo is a tool to gather information and sources before you need them. I repeat, before you need them, and to help you go beyond topics and issues to find the stories within them. It guides you through key demographics and data you should find for your beat, as well as the sources to cultivate and develop, and a place for your story ideas that you find using a combination of article searches, data, and talking to those sources you find. Our beat memo is broken into 3 sections, which we'll cover in the series. Part 1 walks you through how to find sources on your beat before you need them. Search for inner circle sources, elected and appointed officials who are accountable and have oversight over the topic or issue. The next category is outer circle sources, those experiencing the issue, working in the community, and any academics that might be studying the issue. Then look for the advocacy organizations involved in the topic or issue in the geographic location. Part 3 of the beat memo covers specific data and statistics you could look for on your beat. Government open data portals, various demographics like economic and social. We'll cover how to do this in modules 2 and 3. And part 3 are the article searches you need, so you aren't reporting in a vacuum. We're also sharing with you the research plan for stories template. This will help you focus on where to start and how to keep your information and sources in one place for a story. We'll have a separate video to walk you through developing a research plan on a story. A question I get a lot is when and where to stop researching, especially if you love researching, or as we hope you will grow to love researching. Usually time restraints and then getting to the answers your readers need, well, it's going to dictate where you stop. But you can always do a follow-up story if you want to, and we'll talk about this more later. I'm assuming everyone already searches the web for research. I am going to teach you advanced web research techniques to get you to the questions that aren't being answered about a story, to get you the context, history, and details that give you answers. This first part to me is most important. This is how to Google like a boss, so you get more relevant and accurate searches, and you don't waste time or miss important information. The first step of Googling like a boss is making sure you brainstorm the best keywords to use. And keywords just refers simply to words that you choose to put in your searches. Imagine what words would be in an article or a report about your topic. Those are the words you're going to want to use in your search. This means you may need to use jargon, and those are the words used by government agencies or scholars. When you find those in your research, put those back into your web search because you're going to need them to find better and better information. This means it might take a few tries or you adding new words to every search. As you discover new words, try a different search. Be flexible. Try multiple searches with different keywords, adding as you learn more. Use different syntax. Syntax simply means how you organize your search sentence in Google. Go from a broad search like sharks to a specific search like sharks global attacks. Or do the reverse. If your search is too specific, make it more broad. We will talk about the AI results on the top of your Google results. They sometimes will be appearing there for many of us. Just remember to be adaptable when you're searching. Adaptability is the 21st century skill. So work on that as a reporter. Keep in mind that you need to search in a cocktail of resources beyond Google and using Google and the tips you learned today. Here are the many sources of info you can consider searching. Here's a Google search results tip. Skim or view at least the first 5 or 6 pages of results. That makes you more curious than about 90% of humanity, which only looks at the first page of results. That's why you're a pro, because you know how to find things that not everyone else does. Follow along with me as I do these searches. If you are searching a phrase in Google, put it in quotation marks. We use kidney failure here. Your results will have those words right next to each other when you use quotation marks. You can also combine searches for similar words or phrases into one search using the OR command. That's capital O-R. So kidney failure in quotation marks, or renal insufficiency in quotation marks, or renal failure in quotation marks. This represents several different ways of searching for the same thing, so you don't miss out on any of those important phrases. Okay. Notice here we're using some medical jargon like renal insufficiency. It is best to say kidney failure in your reporting, but use jargon when you search. And then there's the capitalized OR that you see in between those phrases. Again, the capital OR or command in capital letters in Google will get you results that contain any of those phrases that are in quotation marks or any words that you put in there next to the OR command. The OR command is always capitalized in Google. It's one of the few command words that you can take advantage of in Google, along with using quotation marks to search for phrases. If you add another word outside of these 3 phrases separated by OR, like adding a geography, for instance, you're going to need parentheses around your OR commands and the words or phrases you're searching. In this example, we're going to add the word Philippines. So your search becomes like a math problem when you add the parentheses around the OR command, or. Google adds and automatically to your searches, right? So this search, open parens, quote, kidney failure, or quote, renal failure, or quote, renal insufficiency, closed parens, and then the word Philippines, that's going to read as kidney failure and Philippines, or renal insufficiency and Philippines, or renal failure and Philippines in your results. So you're going to get all three of those combinations. Add keywords to refine your Google search for more specific results. You could add a word like COVID to this search. Just add it right after Philippines. You don't need the word and, A-N-D, in Google again. If you get AI results like this in Google, make sure you hit the show more bar and go to the original source of the statistic or info. Better yet, scroll further down and explore your own searches, your own search results, especially as you're building your superior search skills. Just look through your own results like these. If you do look through the AI results, sometimes you have to dig through a document to find if the quote or statistic is actually in there. It doesn't help to get used to doing both, but you're developing these skills for a reason. So make sure you check out your own search results and don't always rely on AI. Another super helpful Googling technique that I use every day, all day, is the domain search. You can search Google with a specific domain or type of domain using the cite : command. So it's cite, S-I-T-E, : no spaces. By types of domain, I mean cite : gov, cite : edu, cite : org. Those are the three I use all the time. In the US, there's also cite : mil. If you're doing any sort of defense or military searches, not all countries use the edu domain, but many do. And it's the same for .gov domains. If you use .gov, try using .gov or .edu or .org, followed by the domain of your country. I created a bit.ly of the links from the UN for the Gov websites in case you need to find it, and the edu and the org websites. So you'll see what I'm talking about. You probably already know that, but I just want to make sure, and I don't want to assume. I do searches for my topic and encourage all reporters and my students to do the same search in every different domain, meaning gov, org, and edu. That will give you results from all of those different universes, and you'll have an easier time processing those. So results pop to the top when you're looking at government sources, or when you're looking at organizations or associations, or whatever scholars are saying about your topic. These domain searches like cite : edu can be a good way to find experts, which is really important. We'll cover that more closely a little bit later. I also consider social media another universe, as well as the .gov and .edu domains that you should explore separately, right? So search the same topic in cite : x.com or cite : facebook.com, or the country-specific social media networks that you know your readers or folks in your country use. Here is our cite : org search. Just remember that not every cite : org or organization website is reliable. You have to do a search on an organization or speak to your experts and ask your experts about it before using what that org publishes, that organization or association. Look for any corporate, political, or interest groups that may be connected to the site. And if that site is pushing an agenda or propaganda, look out for that. It doesn't mean you can't use the information. You should know anything behind the source of information you're using. Discuss it with your editor and be transparent with your reader. That's the most important thing. You don't want to have to find out after the fact. Okay, I have a couple more great Googling tips. Let's stick with the parens, kidney failure, renal failure, etc. that we just did. So within your results, you can click on the tools button on the right, which you see here, It's going to limit the date range of your results by the date the page or the article was posted. It's not a perfect tool, so some dates bleed inside or outside of your date range, but it's a helpful way to refine your search results. So when I went to tools on the right here of your search results, you can choose the past year or past month or a custom date range. One more important Googling trick for now, I want to teach you the file type : command, which would include the most common file types that I search, which are PDF, XLSX, and PPT or PPTX. So reports, spreadsheets, slides, other spreadsheets like CSV. You could search for those specific file types. So let's look at this search, which combines a lot of what we've already learned with this file type search. Don't forget, you can also search within Google News, Google Scholar, which we'll cover later in the next video, Google Books, Google Images. There's no limit to the research use of any of these great sources. Don't include any of the file type or site commands in those other Google search tools like Google News or Google Scholar. Just stick with your keywords in those other Google search tools. Stay tuned for the next video. Thanks.